Yo, hey, yo, short arms. You need to chill out, short arms. You hear me? So you need to chill out. Cause what I am, I'm a freaking. Hey, first of all, I want the world to know this. Check this out. I want the world to know that this is one of my best friends. You know, one of my best inspirations. This is my brother. Like I love him. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I love him. I'm not here to play. And I must say this to everybody. You amnesia having motherfuckers. I done gave your life for motherfucking 20 years of music. You know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna tell you, yo, Jay-Z, anything I touched, anything I breathed on, executive produced, anything I thought up, anything I fucking did, whatever. You hear me? Don't play with me, boy. Nah, but I'm, hey, yo, JD, check, are you listening, JD?
I can't hear you. I'm trying to hear you. Say something.
Oh, you can't hear me?
He said a lot. We heard you. Hey, nigga, we heard you. I want you to say something.
Hey, yo, I'm just saying, for real, once you get, hey, yo, bro, you talking about the undares. What are you gonna do when One More Chance drops? What you gonna do when Warner drops?
I'm gonna dance. Listen, by the way, you got listen, I'm a party when you play your record.
Yo, check this out. Hey, yo, I can't even let you talk because you've been talking too much. Y'all didn't even let me know y'all was doing a live.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
All right. Listen, we ain't gotta talk.
Hey, yo, I'm not the one. Yo, I'm the great. Yo, I'm the greatest. I am the greatest, nigga. What the fuck y'all talking about? Yo, I had the most number ones. I had the most number ones as an artist. I'm not even getting you as a producer.
This is the
number one. Don't do that. Stop playing with yourself.
No. As an artist, I had the most. There's so many records that I broke that the world don't know.
I thought you talking about over me. As an artist, I'm talking about over me. We talking about number ones. I thought you was talking about over me. You as an artist, I applaud you.
Let's go.
But we talking about me.
Yo, Diddy, what we doing? Yo, Diddy, what we doing?
Bro, I don't even hear them play none of your shit. Hey, yo, when they go back in the club, I don't hear nobody play none of your shit. That's the last time I heard them play.
Wait.
I don't hear them play no Chris Cross. Ain't nobody rocking no Chris Cross shit. Or no Bow Wow. Yo, I want Dre. Where is Dre? Where is Dre?
Bam. Yeah. Bang, bang, what's up? It's me, Deb. The debate great. Please don't hate. Just like and subscribe to my channel for the best debates in black culture history. Today we talking at Verzuz. Let's get zoomed in. Before we do that, yes I am off that vino, that Pinot Noir. This one is called 4 Grapes. And yeah, it's kind of clean. I did have a little Stella Rosa too, black flavor. But back to the matter at hand. So basically, during the Ja Rule Fat Joe versus JD tweeted out, "Somebody let Diddy know I'm at the Garden right now and he gonna need to do some training for me." And Diddy responded, "Beloved, you know you my knucker, but your arms are too short to box with God. You don't have enough hits. I'll smash you with just Biggie and Mary. The Biggie and Mary records." So, Fat Joe, Joe Budden, not Fat Joe, Joe Budden chimed in. His crew tried to let him know what was good, but he was on some other. Him and Parks was just totally disrespecting, totally violating JD's presence as a human and his whole catalog and his his every fiber of his being, as if JD was just some slouch. Cause I'm telling you, they from the South, and he's short. They don't respect him. But you put his catalog together, the songs he was a part of. Well, let's go. I'm gonna do this like methodically. We moving methodically down the field, like a Tom Brady last drive in the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna rush it. So let's hit it. I'm gonna just let it play in the background, but I jotted down the notes here, and I have minute for minute the things that I couldn't believe I was hearing, or the things that I wanted to opine on, to debate on, because I am a debb. All right, true and true from day one. I love to debate. So at 1 hour and 23 minutes 8 seconds, Joe says that he thinks T.I. can beat many artists with 20 songs from his catalog, but not 50. He claims that there's no New York bias in that statement, but then he suggests that 50 and Puff in their statements are basically telling T.I. and J.D. that they are great in their own right. T.I. and J.D., but that they're not even in the same class as themselves being 50 and Diddy. Which, to hear two New Yorkers say that to two down Southers, it sounds like a New York bias to me. And that's what Joe felt like they were saying in their comments, which means Joe, I'm not saying Joe agrees with them having a bias, but what Joe verbalized is a verbal, what Joe articulated is a verbal bias that came from the minds of 50 and Puff. For them to think, hey, you guys are great, T.I., Jermaine Dupri, you guys are great, but you're not even in our same class. Like Puff and 50, they not on that level to feel like J.D. and T.I. aren't even in the same class as them. Like they would blow them out in the battle. Like no, J.D. and T.I. had 20-year runs. So how can you just dismiss them that easily? You know what I'm saying? I think Joe is nuts to think that it's impossible for T.I. to beat 50 Cent. And his interpretation of their rebuttals clearly shows that they are biased. All right, so that's just the first point. Second point, at 1 hour, 25 minutes, 8 seconds, Joe thinks that Diddy, if anybody, has the right to dismiss most hip-hop artists frivolously, including JD, as a real challenge in a battle. Like Joe thinks, if anyone can dismiss JD in a versus battle as not even being a challenge, it's Diddy, which is nuts to me. It's crazy. Okay, Joe shouldn't say that Puff has the right to dismiss JD as a challenge, because it ain't true. Versus would have they would have to finesse the rules and allow songs that you didn't even help create in order for Puff to win in a blowout fashion. So, I mean, at this point, from what I'm hearing, Puff is talking about playing songs by Biggie and Mary as if he actually wrote them or performed on them, and even as if he made the beats. Like, I don't know, WTF, I don't see how that works. I really don't. Like, this is supposed to be verses as far as songs that you created, you created the music, which is the instrumentation, or you wrote the lyrics or helped write the lyrics, or you performed the lyrics. I don't know. Like, Puff isn't, all of the hits that he was a part of, or they weren't all, he didn't get actual writing credits on all of them. as far as the music or the lyrics. Now, I even heard him say when he was going in on Fat Joe's show, and they had the 4-way conversation. He was like, "Man, I'm coming with executive produced records." Like, okay, executive produced. So in other words, you didn't make the beat, and you didn't write the lyrics, and you didn't perform the song. You just oversaw the execution of getting the song from the studio to the radio, I guess. Like, you did some paperwork. I don't know. Like, I don't see how you get to play songs you executive produced. Like, if we're artists here, they weren't your creation. Like, you were the boss, basically. But you didn't sing, rap, write, play a piano. You didn't do a bebop on the table or something. Like, you wasn't beatboxing with your mouth. Like, something. Give me something, bro. This is like a creative process. We talking about artists here. We're not talking about suits. So anything that Puff was a part of creatively, then definitely he should be able to play. But if he just signed a piece of paper, I ain't feeling that, son. Nah. So let's go on to the next one. 1 minute. Where we at? So I just did. Oh yeah. So that was number 2. Okay, so 1 minute 25 seconds. 1 hour 25 minutes 43 seconds. Joe agrees that J.D. deserves credit for physically creating beats and writing lyrics for his hits. There's a reason why Joe brought that up, because he knows that Puff's legacy is based on different things outside of that. So you gotta give my man J.D. points for that. Puff, don't get me wrong, Puff did his thing. And Puff was a part of actual producing songs or producing beats, producing hit records. When it came to, I know he actually made beats for Jay-Z's American Gangster album. So I know Puff has made beats before. Puff is not a writer though. He's not a songwriter. So Joe says, oh, Puff may have written. I don't know when he wrote. When has Puff ever been a writer? He said, don't ask me if I write songs, I write checks. So he'll admit that. But I did see a article about Puff making beats for that American Gangster album that Jay came out with. So I'd give him that. Next. So, I mean, Joe lost me when he said that Puff could beat Dr. Dre. Dr. Dre? He said that? No, Joe thinks that Diddy. He said that. He said that he deserves credit. He said JD deserves credit for that. JD deserves credit for instrumentation. Okay. So, the fact that JD was instrumental in actually creating all the songs he'd be playing is key. You gotta pay attention to that. I think he deserves more points for that. There has to be rules for these battles. Otherwise, people gonna start playing songs that were made the year their mother was born, or playing songs that their little cousin produced. Like, it's getting too loosey goosey. All right, Fat Joe should not have been able to play "Crush a Lot" by Big Pun or "Annie Up" remix featuring Remy Ma. It's getting out of hand. I mean, it's crazy. So next, the hour and 26 minute mark, 15 seconds. Joe also thinks Puff could beat Dr. Dre in a Verzuz battle. What are we doing here? My head is starting to hurt. Look, Joe lost me when he said Puff could beat Dr. Dre. Dre started making hits in the late 80s when Puff was still in high school or college. Okay, Dre can pull from Eminem hits, from Snoop's hits, from Pac, from NWA hits, the Dog Pound, and Nate Dogg. And I ain't even mentioned The Firm, Mary J. Blige. Let's get it jumping, now you're funkin', man, in this desert. Yeah, Mary, that was his song. The Game, and 50 Cent. And, like, if Puff can pull from songs that he only was a part of as an executive, then that means that Dr. Dre should be able to pull from songs that he mixed and mastered, which opens up the door for Jay-Z's Kingdom Come album. He had at least 2 or 3 bangers on there that, like, memorable. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't his best album, but he has 2 or 3 songs on there that Dr. Dre mixed and mastered that you gotta get, you know what I'm saying? You gotta respect. So it's like you widening, you know what I'm saying? Puff is trying to widen his pool, his reference book. Okay, then that means you gotta let the other man widen his net too, cast a wider net too. So stop it, Joe. I know you love R&B more than rap. Anyone who watches the show knows that. And you're from Jersey. And you actually cool with Puff. And you idolize all of the ultra wealthy hip hop legends. So the bias for Diddy is a given. We see right through it. It's not fair. Everybody on the show is from New York. Like, everybody. So they all coming at it from a New York point of view. And even then, I still give Ice and Ish props for respecting the South, respecting J.D. and T.I. But you gotta understand, all their perspective is skewed because they're from New York, man. What if they was all from Atlanta? Those records from J.D. hit different if they from Atlanta, and you know it. Jokes at 1 hour, I keep saying 1 minute, what the fuck? At 1 hour, 27 minutes, 12 seconds, Joe says JD can't beat anything in Puff's whole catalog with Tamia or Jagged Edge. Now, I mean, my head almost exploded. I almost shot through the roof on that one. Alright, so Joe is crazy for the Tamia J.E. dismissal. Alright, Jagged Edge. If Let's Get Married remix comes on, or Where the Party At featuring Nelly comes on, Puff is gonna have to scramble straight up looking for something to play. The problem is that Joe Budden and the whole crew are trying to anticipate the reaction of a New York City crowd, because the last few verses have been in Madison Square Garden. What if the event is in Atlanta, in the Atlanta Hawks arena, when Welcome to Atlanta, where the play, dun 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 dun, when that come on, or Like You from Bow Wow come on. I ain't never show you, never I ain't never had nobody to be like you. Like, that's real. You gonna have to contend with that. Alright? Bow Wow and Sierra. That was a hit. Smash. Or what if Lean With It, Rock With It, Lean With It, Rock. Lean With It, Rock With It, Lean. From the Franchise Boys come on. And they in Atlanta. What if Usher, Nice and Slow come on? Think on me, USHERRAINOND. Let me tell me what you wanna do with me. Gotta be freaking like Joe.E when you're holding me slow. Yeah. What if Drew Hill Sleeping in My Bed remix comes on in Atlanta? Like, come on. Somebody sleeping in my Do you wanna move? I'ma make you move. Do you wanna dance? I'ma make you dance. I got this feeling I can turn it loose. There's somebody else getting close to you. Boom, boom, boom. Can't walk around like I was your fool. 'Cause being who I am, I can't lose my cool. I can't tell thee things I didn't say, but when we out, I heard you calling me. And it might be missing with my making my pain. Somebody sleeping in my bed, my bed, my bed. Taking my place. Taking the blade. Oh, ah. Okay, but that's you go. The roof go. Come on, you gotta understand. They gonna have to do the damn verses in and they gonna have to do the damn verses in the West Coast. They gonna have to do it in a neutral area because if you do it in New York, do it in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? It depends on where you at. You gotta understand that. All right. So final point. Joe is right. T.I. can't continue to push the narrative that New York ignores Southern rap and R&B because the South is on top and has been for 10 years. But most of JD's hits came out before 2010. Think about that. Because that's when hip-hop music was still dominated by New York and LA. So JD's hits that were coming out in the 90s and between 2000 and 2010, they weren't really getting the respect they deserve or heavy airplay because it was during the era, the East Coast era of hip-hop and R&B. So JD became a music legend while driving uphill against the wind, against the grain, when the radio didn't want to play the down south music as much. Puff had the wind at his back, was driving downhill with momentum, and got first dibs on the whole buffet basically, while the West Coast and down south had to eat the leftovers because the East Coast got to play first. They got to play first. I mean, they got to play. They got the majority of radio time. You know what I'm saying? Because of its birth of hip hop and stuff like that. Then there's already just an East Coast bias. They're 3 hours ahead. You gotta, respect how late it is over there. You gotta play things earlier. You want East Coast to be able to get to be able to hear and see things. So the timing is funny. But there's the East Coast bias in college sports. There's the East Coast bias in music, or not as much as it used to be, but there was during these two men's eras, which is the 90s and the 20-aughts, the early aughts, you know what I'm saying, 2010s. So that's all I'm saying. There's different things to look at for the perspective of this debate. And hey, as far as I'm concerned, I just smashed on Joe Budden's whole theory and his whole show when it came to that debate between JD and Diddy. So, but at the end of the day, you, the customer, the viewer, you are the judge. So that's it for now. Like this video and help me get to my first 100 subscribers, please. I appreciate that. Comment below and let me know what y'all think about my response to Joe Budden's statements about the debate about the verses between Diddy and JD, hypothetically, because it is not set up yet or announced as far as we know. Do you agree with him or me when it comes to this debate? And remember, I'll always do my best to entertain and educate. Gone. I got this feeling, turn it loose.